All right, game design students, I'm continuing on with the video series here about how to make the 2D platformer game. In the previous video, we added some behaviors to our player box, and now we're going to add some events to make our player sprite follow that player box so our game looks nice, and we're going to be able to move our guy all around now with some cool animations during this section. And we're going to do that by creating events. Events work by testing if a series of conditions have been met, if they have the actions run. So it's a series of if-then statements. We say, if this thing is happening, then do this thing, right? So for example, if my player is in the air and falling, I want it to display a certain animation. That's something we'll go over, okay? In this case, the first event we're going to do is we're going to have these two objects just track each other and always stay in the same place. Remember, our green box should be invisible right now, should not be initially visible, so that we don't see it. And we're going to make our player sprite just trace our box everywhere. Okay. To do this, we want to go to what is called the event sheet. So it's up here in the top right. We're going to click that. And right now it's empty. There's nothing there. So what we want to do is either double click or we want to click add event. And in this case, we're just going to choose the thing that we want to create an event about. And in that case, it's going to be the system. And right now in the system, we want it to happen on every tick. Now a tick, this is important to understand. Your game on Construct runs at what's called 60 frames per second, 60 FPS. And that means every second, your game is refreshing the screen 60 times. So it's super fast. So fast that it makes it look like things are moving very fluidly. What we want it to do is every time that refreshes, so 60 times per second, which is every tick, we want it to do something specific. And in this case, we want our player sprite to have its position set to the same as the box. And so what I'm going to do is I can just go up here to the search bar and I can just start to type set position, and I can set the position to another object. So I'm going to double click that. And then the object I want to change it to is the player box. I can click OK, and I can click Done. And now every time that the game refreshes, which is 60 times a second, it is going to take my player sprite and put it right over my box. Now watch what this does when I play the game. Look, now I'm actually moving my guy. Okay? Now you'll notice, even when I'm not moving, his walking animation is still going on, which will change. But as I move here, because we've set up that animation, it actually looks nice and fluid. It looks like he's walking around. And we're going to make it look even better. And we'll see if my level is very good. My level design probably needs a little bit of work. But we'll talk about that later. We'll probably edit my jump strength or something. I don't know. So yeah, there we go. That's how that's done. Let's continue on. We're going to add some more events in. So we did that. We made it follow that object. Great. Now some problems. If you play around, you'll notice a few of them. Number one, our player animation does not face left. If you look here, as we're moving to the right, his eye is facing that way. But if we move left, he's still looking backwards. We want our player to be able to move around and look side to side. It just helps the game look a little better. Those little things like graphics and the details just make your game look nicer. And so we want to include as many of those as we can. Problem number two, there aren't any other animations. He's just constantly walking, never stops walking. So we're going to sort these out. First of all, number one, we need to get the player turning left and right. So to do that, we need to tell our game that we're using a keyboard, which for right now for this game, you should just be using the keyboard. We might set up a gamepad or touch controls later on, but right now we're just going to use the keyboard. So we need to go back to our layout, double click, and you need to add in a keyboard under input. Okay, so just double click keyboard. And now our game knows that we're using a keyboard. Okay, it kind of already knew, but now we're able to add some events when certain things happen on the keyboard. First thing we're going to do, okay, we're going to add an event and we're going to say keyboard. And when a certain key is pressed, we're going to double click on key pressed. And that key is going to be the left arrow key. Okay, done. So when the left arrow key is played, I want to add an action. And in this case, I want my player sprite to mirror itself. I want it to face the other way. So I need to go to set mirrored right here, double click it, and leave it on mirrored. Done. So let's go and test this out and watch what happens now when I press the, so I'm going right, watch what happens when I press the left arrow key. My guy's facing the other way. Now watch what happens when I press the right arrow key. Now he's stuck facing left. So I have to tell my game that when the right arrow key is pressed, that I want it to unmirror itself. So I'm going to add an event, keyboard, on key pressed, right arrow key, done. I want to set my player sprite, and I'm going to click set mirrored again, but this time I'm going to change mirrored to not mirrored, and click done. Okay. We're going to play, and as we move right and left, now our guy looks right and left. Look at this. This is great. He's moving around, making everything look nice. I can jump. I can move right to left, and my guy just faces the direction I'm moving. It's a very subtle change if you just look at his eyeball, but it does make a little bit of a difference. Okay? And we're going to add some more animations to make it look even a little nicer. Okay. We've done all this. This is great. That's actually the end of the page. So we'll stop the video there. And the next video is when we're going to add in a few more animations. Right here. Yeah, and that's what it's called, adding more animations. So once you have this done, feel free to move on to the next video, and I will see you there. Bye.